What if the reason you're burned out by business strategies isn't that you're doing it wrong, but that you're doing it someone else's way? In this episode, we explore how aligning your visibility and business with your energetic design can unlock effortless flow, fulfillment, and abundance. Hi, and welcome to the You World Order Showcase podcast, where we feature life, health, transformational coaches, and spiritual entrepreneurs stepping up to be the change they seek in the world. I'm your host, Jill Hart, the Coach's Alchemist, on a mission to help coaches and entrepreneurs amplify their voice, monetize their mission, and get visible. If you're ready to start attracting premium clients without chasing algorithms or hunting people down like a banshee on a mission, head on over to coachesalchemist.com and schedule your free client acquisition audit today. It's the first step to building a business where your clients seek you out rather than you having to hunt them down. Today, we are chatting with Charlie Garnham. Charlie is a visibility strategist for spiritual visionaries who uses the human design system to help entrepreneurs be seen and sought after without sacrificing their energy. Combining intuitive insight with practical strategies, she guides clients to work with their design instead of against it so they can stop forcing success and start flowing with it. After leaving her corporate marketing career, Charlie now works half as much and earns 3 times more, living proof that alignment is the new hustle. Hi and welcome, Charlie. It's really great to have you with us.
Hello, Jill. Thank you so much for having me. That was a fantastic introduction.
You're all the things. So, what's the most significant thing, in your opinion, as individuals we can do to make an impact on how the world is going?
I truly believe that having individuality in our society actually is the key for, our future. And I believe that everybody should have their voice, everybody should have their own way of doing things, and nobody should ever be forced into doing something that, they really don't want to do, whether it's by government or a teacher or just like pressure from society. So I truly believe, the key to success with humanity even is individuality.
I love that. And I love that because of the work that you're doing also. It seems to me that it really focuses on how we can highlight the unique things that we bring to the world, the gifts that we bring to the world that are, I believe, pre-planned by us before we even get here. And like human design and some of these other astrology and some of these other tools that we use out there are just like decoding the message that was sent to us from beyond so that we can live our best life and be the people we came here to be. I think that's
Mm.
part of the challenge.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And I just think, there's so much conditioning out there in the world, like everybody has their own thoughts and feelings about how we should live our lives, like I said, from could be government, could be teachers, pressure from social media. And I think sometimes we almost forget ourselves in that process of conditioning. And human design and, like you say, other things like astrology, even personality tests, they really help us to return to our true selves, remember who we were. And I think that leads us down a path of least resistance in our lives as well.
Yeah, we're not designed to be great at everything. In fact, they've done studies where they've shown that people who are like valedictorians uniformly don't perform that well in life versus somebody that's singularly oriented. And you'll notice that most people who are successful by society standards, like really making a lot of money or really leaders in their field, like Steve
Mhm.
Jobs, Bill Gates, no matter what you think of him, these people never got college degrees. They weren't in the let's get the general education. They were just singularly focused and went after what they wanted to achieve. Not that, going to college is a bad thing, but if you go to college hoping that it's going to help you um, be really good at everything, it's not going to be a good fit for you. It's going to be a waste of money, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
that's my
absolutely.
opinion. You could go to college and be a doctor, or you could go to trade school and be a plumber. They both make the same amount of money.
Yes. Oh my goodness. Yeah.
One
Yeah,
has
they
a
do.
bazillion dollars in debt for student loans, and the other probably joined the union and got paid to learn his skills.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You just have to think about
And
it.
it's very common for people to go to university because they don't know what
Hmm.
to do. And so they're trying to find out. And that was me. And I wouldn't take that back. And I was trying to find out who I was and what I wanted to do. But actually, I went to university because of conditioning, because that's
Hmm.
what I'm supposed to do. And could my career have been better if I hadn't gone to university? Yeah, potentially. Yeah,
It would have been different.
different.
And,
Yeah.
I never, I try not to ever say that one thing is better than another. It's always about choices and decisions that we make. Everything has a
Mm.
consequence, and the
Yeah.
consequences are neither good nor bad. They're just consequences. And it's up to you to frame how you want to perceive it. Personally, I
Yeah.
think you should just like embrace everything as good that's happening for you, not to you, and move through life with that attitude. You're going to be here for the experiences. You may as well enjoy them. And I know that what you do helps people figure out how to come to that conclusion with their own life in an easier way. So, you want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah. Yeah, so I mean, I can talk about, human design as like an overarching sort of like thing that it, kind of helps people with. And then maybe we could go into like a little bit of like, well, what actually is human design? Because a lot of people maybe have heard of it, heard the term, it's a little bit of a trendy thing, but they don't really know what it is. So for me personally, what I do with human design is I help people to understand who they are. And human design is the most amazing and accurate system. And it really does give you a snapshot, not only of who you are in this moment of time, which can be so accepting. You can really fill yourself with confidence if, who it is that you are right now is exactly what human design also says. But the other thing that human design does, it also shows you a snapshot of who you have the potential to be as well. And that for me is the most transformational part of the system because, we've been talking about conditioning today, and it helps you to release that conditioning. It helps you to understand your limiting beliefs or what your ego mind is trying to say, where your procrastination comes in. And it helps you to achieve so much more success by stepping into that amazing person that you were born to be. And yeah, this is why I love human design because it is freakily accurate and it's hard to depict, unless I have your chart, for example, Jill, right now, and I show you a couple of things, it's hard to actually say exactly how accurate it is. So yeah.
I've seen my chart, and it for me, when I look at things like that or personality tests, it's permission to be myself.
Hmm.
Because we do all get subjected to conditioning where there's pressure for us to be certain ways. And when you look at some of these like human design, for example, I don't have a word for an overarching word for what they're called, but you look at them and you're like, oh, okay, so that's why I feel this way when I'm pushed into doing things in an XYZ cookie cutter business strategy sort of method. And I do find that it turns into burnout. Can you
Yeah.
can you share with me the moment you first realized that traditional marketing approaches weren't aligned with your design?
Yes, I mean, this was quite an amazing story actually because, like I said, or like you said in the beginning with my bio, I have been in corporate marketing for 20 years. And of course, in corporate marketing, marketing is what it is. You keep up with the trends and you kind of understand the psychology of marketing and you do the things and everything like that. When it came for me to be a marketing coach about 6 years ago, I thought that I had everything that I needed to, run my own business, be a freelancer, help other people with marketing because I had done it so much in my corporate career. And I thought that that authority would help me to get clients, essentially. And I very quickly realized that I was running my business or trying to run my business in a way that was so deeply unaligned with who I was and who I am that it really just like it kind of like hit me in the face. It's like this is not working. Like all of the corporate marketing things that I've learned that I've been conditioned to think works because they had work in corporate marketing, none of that worked for me at all. And then I found human design, and it really was just like a light bulb moment that I had been running my life incorrectly or wrong. And that was a good thing, right? You should never really say, oh, like, that was terrible time in my life or anything like that. Like you said earlier, it's just a time in your life that you get to be thankful for the, learnings that you get. But it was an eye-opening moment of, well, if I did this instead of this, then things just surrender, things just relax, things just, become just so much less resistant. You don't procrastinate and, when you come into alignment with yourself. And I think really from that moment onwards, and I found human design and I started, diving into it, I just knew that I had to bring this to the world because I can see so many people out there, like launching or, creating like batches and batches of content. And I could just see the sort of like the friction and everything that's going on. And I'm like, let's just come back to basics. Let's just come back to yourself. And then it will just happen, right?
Yes. So, what's the biggest piece of advice you've tried that didn't work?
Launching for sure. So one of my little stories that I have is back when I was a marketing coach, I actually invested it was probably about $5,000 into a group coaching program that teaches you how to launch. And I was still in corporate marketing at this time. So I was in full-time marketing and then I was trying to do this business on the side and I was trying to launch. And I was with the coach that was doing it. She was a generator type in the human design system, and I was a different type. I'm a projector, right? And it doesn't really matter like what those mean at this point in the story, but what you need to know is that those two types are very, very different in the way that we use our energy. So she was like, teaching all of these different things, getting us to, plan this and structure that and strategize on this and get our messaging right and get the social media editing right. And it was one of those launch strategies where it was create a live event and then sell your products based on that. And I came to my live event, and because I'd had 10 weeks of just constantly just going and going and going, hustling and DMing and social media and everything, I did my live event and then I just went to bed for 2 days because it was so misaligned for my energy. I couldn't even handle it anymore. And that was probably my best investment in the sense that it taught me something very, very big that I'm not made for launching, and I'm certainly not made for launching like that. Yeah.
Yeah. And not every system is the right system for us as
Yeah.
individuals, because it does go back to we are each individuals and we each just share our gifts in different ways. And it doesn't have to be like one way. There's not just
Yeah.
one way to find that path to success out there.
hmm Yeah, exactly. And I think, you have to do a lot of experimentation to find out what does work for you.
Mhm.
So, burnout could potentially happen, but as long as you're conscious of it and you're consciously aware that it is happening, then that's when we can pivot. That's when we can find something else. The only issue, of course, is that, if you're anything like me, I try to go out there and like fix myself, which obviously is, not what I should have been doing. And I was, investing in all the things, downloading all the freebies and, just trying to like find the silver bullet that would help me to, be a very competent business owner. And actually, again, when I came into human design, I realized that this was a part of my chart that was what we call not self, which is like a shadow energy. So I was acting in my shadow energy when I was doing that, which is why I always say the answers are already inside of you. You just have to come back to your true self and understand them.
Yeah. You said that following your design helped you work 50% less and earn 3 times more. What specific
Mhm.
shifts or practices made that transformation possible?
Well, one of the key things that people don't quite understand about human design sometimes is that they say to me the word, I have had my human design done, right? Which means they've gone and had a reading from someone. So, I myself am a human design reader. I can read your chart. But the thing is human design is that it's not one and done. It's not like, oh, I'm going to have a reading and then, okay, great, I know about myself. That's fantastic. I'm just going to, forget everything that I've heard, right? Or just accept everything I've heard. Human design is actually an experiment. And if you choose to embark on that experiment, you can literally just go down the layers deeper and deeper and deeper, peel the layers of the onion back, and you can just step by step, just come into your true self, start to make decisions as your true self. And the more that you do this, the more that you will shine your light out there in the world. And for me, as a projector in human design, the very key thing that I needed is that I needed to recognize myself first and foremost. And I do believe no matter what type you are in human design, that you need to recognize yourself. Because if you don't recognize yourself, your zone of genius, your magic, how is anybody else supposed to recognize you? How are you supposed to get out there into the world and explain what you do if you don't know? And for projectors specifically, that's actually quite a hard concept because we don't really see ourselves for who we truly are. So a lot of work has to go into really understanding who we are and understanding how amazing we are as well. And if there's anybody listening who is a projector or is just really resonating with what I say, my advice to you is very simply at the end of the day, journal prompt, how was I recognized today? And just write down a couple of comments. Oh, this person over here told me that, it made her smile, what I said. This person over here said, oh, wow, like, I really thought that that was amazing what you did today, Charlie, or, what your name is. And just having those little comments there, consciously, becoming aware of how people have recognized you every single day. Doesn't have to be anything big, but that really helps you to try and like understand who you are and recognize yourself. So that was the one big shift that I made to yeah, work less and earn so much more.
I love that. And people underestimate how much impact little things done daily can have
Hmm.
on moving your life in the direction you want to go. It's
Yeah.
you build up momentum and it may not seem like anything is changing, but after, you know, 1% better a day, after 100 days, you're 100% in a different space than you were when you first started. And 1%'s not a
Yeah.
lot. It's just one little adjustment. And, that's a great piece of advice, look around and just recognizing who shed some light on who you are so that you can understand from somebody else's perspective what you're contributing to the world.
Yeah.
It's so easy, no matter what type of human design pattern you fall into, to minimize small compliments that you get.
Mhm.
And we do generally get them daily. People will say things to us, but we just like we're so busy moving forward. I'm a manifesting whatever
Generator. Yeah.
generator. um, and so I'm always like I'm purpose driven.
Moving on.
I'm
Yeah.
moving on and blinders on and I'm getting the things done. But, you know, input's always coming in, you know. Yes, that was great. No, you missed the
Yeah.
mark there. Or, it's just like, but I don't make a point of stopping and saying, hey, that was really great. And maybe I should slow down and do that. Maybe all of us, if we would slow down just a little bit, say, that was that worked really well. I maybe want to do more of that and less of
Yeah.
just, I know what I want to do and I'm just going to plow forward and do it.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Because, funnily enough, in business, especially, if we're talking about marketing yourself specifically, funnily enough, marketing is not about you. It's about the people that you are inspiring, empowering, and the people you're drawing into your world. So the more that you can, sort of understand the people around you, understand, what they love and why they think that you're amazing, the more you can leverage that because, like I say, you can understand who you are through that comment as well. One of the things that I love to say about human design is that it's almost like you are each of us is a jar of jam, right? We know what's inside of us. So we know if we're strawberry jam, if we're like maybe some kind of jelly or peanut butter or something. We could be anything inside that jar. Human design not only helps us solidify what is in that jar, but it also helps us to read the label on the outside of the jar because it helps us to understand what other people perceive of us. So we get
Mhm.
to read our label as well as get to know what juicy, jelly jam is inside as well. So I love that one.
And I like how we all are different. I mean, there's just a handful of different, like, big labels in human design, but
Hmm.
within those labels, there's like so much individuality. And
Yeah.
so, you may be part of a group that like a lot of people are in, but it doesn't mean that you're just like the whole group of people. You just have this one main tendency to function in the world a certain way, but all of the other little pieces are what makes you super unique. It's like there's a bunch of people who are Pisces in the world,
Yes.
a 1/12th, maybe 1/13th if you count that other zodiac sign that I can never remember, but I think it's in December somewhere. Um,
Yeah.
so But I'm not the same as every other Pisces out there. It,
Hmm.
it has to do with where I was born and when I was born and the other
Yeah.
houses that other planets and constellations are in that also influence how I'm going to be going through this incarnation and what my purpose here is. And so when I'm talking to people, it's also good to know that there's people who are Scorpios, and there's people
Mm.
who are Aries, and there's people who are Geminis, and understanding how their lives are put together on the grand scale, but also recognizing that they've got other little pieces that also play into it. And for my own life, I've noticed that I attract more of certain types
Hmm.
of zodiac signs to me than others. It,
Yeah.
it's and I think that same kind of happens with human design, but it's
Hmm.
being able to be open to understanding that yes, you are unique and so is everyone else. But if you understand like the big picture of different categories, it makes it easier to relate to those people from
Mm.
where you are. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, you completely hit the nail on the head. Like there are only five types in the human design system. So, projectors, for example, they're only 20% of the world. Manifesting generators are 37% of the world. So it's not evenly divided like the zodiac signs, but You get to relate to other people that are very similar to you in the same type, but then also at the same time, the layers that you go down in human design. So the next one would be your decision making process, and then your profile, and then everything else underneath there. All of that starts to differentiate you from the other manifesting generators out there in the world. And, like this is actually my third call today with a manifesting generator. And all three of you have been completely and utterly different. But the unique concept of the manifesting generator kind of is like an overarching sort of, this is the way that I get to live my life. But then the differentiation comes with all the layers that are underneath in the human design system. Does that make sense?
Totally, totally.
Yeah.
And it is just kind of how it all plays out, and it all fits together so well when we
Yeah.
don't try to be other things because
Hmm.
somebody said we should operate that way. It allows us the
Yeah.
freedom to be who we're here to be and to embrace it because the world
Yeah.
needs
Yeah.
us. The
Yeah,
world needs us to be
exactly.
us.
Yeah, and all the human design types, they're not any good or worse than all the others. We all just work together, and that's what the design is. It's the design is, a projector can work with a manifesting generator, a generator can work with a reflector or a manifester, and that's not good or bad. It's just it can happen because we're here to help each other with, our unique genius and zone of magic.
Mhm. It's like a symphony. When
Yeah.
you go to the symphony, everybody has an instrument that they play, and they're all different. There are some
Mhm.
strings, and there's some brass, and there's some woodwinds, and there's some drums, and there's some percussions, and they're all they all have their unique things. And in the strings, there's like a whole variety of types of stringed instruments, and they all
Mhm.
sound slightly different, and they all match up with different other other instruments to make a beautiful symphony, but
Yeah, piece of music.
piece of music. But if they're trying to be something they're not, or if they're trying to play a piece that they're not really designed to play, it makes the whole
Hmm.
thing sound kind of off.
Yeah. Yeah, it distorts,
Mhm.
which is actually what we say in human design system is that when we're out of alignment, our music that we're playing out there in the world is distorted. And then when other people come in and feel that, it's like, "Ooh, okay, that doesn't feel very good for me." And, I've been talking a lot recently about sales aura, which is kind of like my own concept of understanding, if I show up in, the truest version of who I am. I'm not trying to be anybody else, and I'm just shining my light out into the world. Then other people will sense that and they will move towards me and they'll want to work with me because they'll hear that frequency in my voice where they just feel, oh, wow, like Charlie's playing this beautiful music right now. And that is how we can end up growing our businesses because people naturally move towards us because our frequencies will match.
Yeah, yeah. And they're just kind of drawn to you. Um,
Yeah,
I know that you offer a Decode Your Design, Speak to the Soul, sounds powerful. Um,
yeah.
but you want to talk about that report and how people can discover how human design can guide their visibility, magnetism, and business growth?
Yeah, absolutely. So, the little free report that I have for everybody is just like a starting point into understanding some of the key placements in your own personal design to be able to start thinking, okay, so that is how I'm designed to connect with others, not like this over here that someone else has told me to do. So, for example, you might be somebody listening who absolutely hates networking, right? But other people keep saying to you, oh, you need to network. Like, you can't grow a business without networking. Actually, that report might show you, oh, yeah, like, it's okay that you don't network because we can do this instead. And there are three key placements in there for you. I've not overwhelmed you because human design is incredibly overwhelming when you first come into it. And yeah, it's just a little snapshot. And hopefully you'll look at it and you'll learn something about yourself. And hopefully you'll also read it and accept yourself as well. Because hopefully you'll say, yeah, that is me. I definitely do that. I'm so pleased Charlie said that. I'm going to take that on board and I'm going to, shine my light now. So that can be downloaded from my website, and you do need an accurate time of birth to be able to access that. But please let me know if you need a little bit of help with your time of birth, because I know that's a little bit of an issue for some people.
Usually you can find it on your birth certificate.
Yes, depends on where you were born, what era you were born in as well. Personally, for me, being born in the UK in the 80s, we didn't have the time on our birth certificates. So yeah, it all depends. There's usually baby books. That's something that we have in the UK, certainly. There are family stories usually that help you kind of decipher, oh yeah, okay, so I think I was born at like 7 o'clock in the morning. And then there's also a birth time rectification, which we can do as well using human design, astrology, and your own very, very genius body as well.
That's interesting. I never realized that.
Yeah.
Learned something new today. So,
Good.
and you also have a Substack, which is
Yep.
charliegarnham.substack.com. And what do you talk about
Yep.
over there?
So I love talking and understand or helping other people to understand the concept of being able to speak to the soul of your dream client. And really that is because I love using human design not only to help you understand who you are, to shine your light out into the world, but also to help you to know who you're here to activate using your very specific placements in the human design system. And, understanding who you activate is a big part of marketing anyway, big part of business. We all know we have to have our ideal clients or our dream clients or our soul clients, whatever you want to call it. But the human design system kind of almost solidifies that a little bit more. It's not demographics, it's more on the psychographic side. And it can really help you to speak to the soul of those people that you're here to activate with your business and your work and, what you're doing in this world. And that's kind of what I talk about on my Substack, how human design can come into that, and how to do your messaging basically, like very basic side of things. It's yeah, messaging within your business.
I love that. I love how you've tied human design into something practical for people
Hmm.
to like use. So often
Yes.
we get things like our birth charts or even our human design charts done, but there's a gap between, okay, this is what it is, but how do I actually put it into
Mhm.
practice and how can this help me move what I'm doing forward or make a
Yeah.
difference?
Yeah. And that is actually what I'm designed to do. So I'm designed to be very practical, and just give practical solutions to people who think that they need fixing, which, by the way, you don't at all. But yeah, I provide practical solutions to potential problems for you.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much for joining me today, Charlie. This has been a great conversation.
Thank you so much, Jill. It's been fantastic. Very nice. Very, I love what you said as well, all of your comments. So thank you so much for having me.
To learn more about Charlie and to get your copy of Decode Your Design, A Speak to the Soul, please visit charliegarnham.com and be sure to check out her Substack at charliegarnham.substack.com. And we'll be sure to put those links in the show notes below. Thanks for tuning in today to the You World Order Showcase podcast. If you're ready to amplify your voice, monetize your mission, and start attracting premium clients, your next step is simple. Head over to coachesalchemist.com and schedule your free client acquisition audit. Be sure to join us for our next episode as we share what others are doing to raise the global frequency. And remember, change begins with you. You have all the power to change the world. Start today and get business.